Hey there, everyone. Let's talk about what it's like to be a first-time home buyer, and let's talk about those steps to buy your first home. I'm going to share some tips and tricks along the way to make sure that your first home buying experience is a successful one and that you enjoyed the process along the way. It doesn't have to be stressful. It can actually be a really enjoyable experience. So let's get right into it. First thing I want you to do is I want you to interview with a couple of different real estate agents. I say this because there's a lot of different people out there, a lot of different personalities, and you got to make sure that you get along with your real estate agent. You want to make sure that this individual and their style of how they approach real estate works with you. Do you need a lot of extra time to go through the steps? Or do you feel pretty confident right out of the gate that you can do this? So interview a few different agents and make sure that you can work with this person for the next 30 to 90 days. So that's about how long your transaction is going to last, from the moment you get pre-qualified until the moment you close. Next step, I want you to get pre-qualified. I mentioned that a moment ago, and pre-qualified is a term that gets thrown around a lot. More importantly, pre-qualified lets sellers know that you are ready to buy, because they are going to ask for that when you submit an offer on their home. Are you pre-qualified with a bank or a mortgage broker? And yeah, there's differences between the two. So we can certainly talk about that in depth. After you're pre-qualified, the next step is to set up a home search and begin seeing homes. Now I want you to leverage the MLS for its searching capability. Let your agent set up a search that gets emailed directly to you every single time a new listing hits the market that matches your criteria. This search from the MLS can be very granular. And what I mean by that is you can literally ask for a home that has a gas burning fireplace in the basement, and the MLS search is capable of looking for that. But that's not something that most online searches are capable of finding. So leverage that bit of technology. When you're ready to see homes, try and scale down that list of homes that you see on the internet to a very manageable amount of homes for each day. After a while, they all just have gray walls, or they all have black roofs, or they all, kind of look the same. So keep that in mind as you go out to look at homes. Not going to try and put you on a marathon where we're going to see 20 homes in a day. I'm thinking 6 to 8 homes in a day. Next step after that is writing the contract. This is really a video unto itself, but suffice it to say, the contract is what puts your interests forward to buy the home. It's a very long letter of intent. It includes a lot of concepts like your earnest money, dates and deadlines, when you're going to inspect the home, when the title work will come back to you. Are there any HOA documents you need to be reviewing? Is the appraisal important to you? Is it required? Most times an appraisal is required, but we don't actually have to put a date in the contract, because for VA and FHA loans, the Colorado real estate contract guarantees that you get an appraisal regardless of the date that's on there. So that's important to note, and I can go over that in more detail. And the contract also specifies your outs, meaning your rights to terminate. Again, I mentioned that the real estate contract really could be a video unto itself. So just, bear with me here that we are going to write a contract at this point. And let's assume that the contract is accepted by the seller. So we're moving on to the next step. We're going to drop off earnest money. That earnest money goes to a title company, and it's for the amount that's specified in the contract. Earnest money is not a hard and fast rule, but a general rule of thumb would be a 1% amount of the purchase price. Like I said, it's negotiable. Have I done transactions where the earnest money was $500? Absolutely. It all just depends on what type of home we're looking at and what your situation is, especially as a first-time home buyer. Now, that was a little tip right there. Earnest money is negotiable, so keep that in mind. Next step is the home inspection. You can interview home inspectors, and they're going to have a variety of inspections that they're going to want to expose you to that are right for the home that you're buying. You know, if you're buying a home down in Security Widefield, we're going to ask that you do a sewer line inspection. And that can run between $150 and $300 depending on the company that you hire and where they have to gain access to that sewer line. That's a good inspection to know about. So there's another little tip. The regular home inspection is all-encompassing. You know, in fact, that will run probably from the foundation up to the roof and every wall in between. And they're going to generate a really long report for you. They're going to come up with a list of items that need to be addressed either by you or by the seller. Now, at this point in the contract, you've got an opportunity to go back to the seller and say, hey, I want you to fix this stuff. So by working with your real estate agent, you're going to type up a document called the inspection objection. And this is going to be a list of requests that you are going to be able to ask the seller to address. Now, this is not what the seller is required to do. This is simply your request. The next step in the process is the seller and their agent have to review these items, and they will in turn come back with an inspection resolution that will then memorialize or put into writing what they are going to fix. So this is the important list in the inspection process. As I mentioned before, the contract guarantees you certain rights. And if you're not satisfied with the inspection resolution that the seller puts forward, you can quit the contract and get your earnest money back, provided you've done that within the right dates and deadlines. This is not something that you can negotiate after the inspection deadlines have elapsed. After the inspection, we're going to talk about the next step.